Hato and Simons close to a formal announcement in relation to their move to Chelsea. Done deals galore at the moment in the transfer window. We're also looking at a major update regarding Rodrygo. I forgot his name. To Arsenal. Big update in Liverpool's pursuit of the player. Are they out of that race? Speaking of being out, Alexander Isak will not go on tour. They're saying it's an injury, but do you believe it? That's the big question. Plus, Garnacho to Chelsea has reared its head again. All that and much more this morning on the Done Deal Show. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Get that bell notification hit as well. Let's do this, people. Fabrizio Romano here confirming that Chelsea have reached an agreement on personal terms for Hato, and the defender has asked to leave Ajax. Negotiation advanced to the final stages of a fee in discussion around 40 million euros. Hato has informed the Ajax management and the manager of his clear desire to join Chelsea. This is off the back of personal terms with Xavi Simons being completed. And I said this yesterday morning when we went live with Callum from Coppish, that I spoke to a few journalists behind the scenes about both these deals. And they said that personal terms had been agreed for a minute and that these deals were almost done, almost over the line. And this is the truth. They are done. They are pretty much where you would want them to be. There's a bit of delay in the media because Chelsea are finalizing minor details, but as it stands right now, according to a number of very credible sources, personal terms are agreed. The fees are almost where they need to be. These are considered done deals, and Chelsea have moved so quickly, so surgically, so professionally in the approach for these two players. Young, hungry, massively high ceilings, versatility in their play as well. And as I said, I reached out to these journalists this morning. A couple of them are very well-known Chelsea journalists. And they said, look, we ain't publishing this yet because we've got to wait for the okay from particular people at certain clubs. But their view is this is considered, Chelsea are considering these to be as close to done as possible, or considering them to be done deals. They see it as a formality from this point. My question to you is, do you agree with them? Do you think this is a formality from this point? Do you see Hato and Xavi Simons being these done deals that are claimed? I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on that in the comment section below. Plus, how good a deal do you think this is? How good a piece of business do you think this is? We're also going to be touching on Rodrygo to Arsenal, because I think the news that came out last night from James Pearce is absolutely massive. We'll be delving into that on the show. We're looking at Isak. I mean, better news for Liverpool. The Isak news for me, it's crazy. But we're starting with Chelsea. I want your views and I want your opinions on these deals in the comment section right now. User here says Hato will be a good signing for Chelsea. Yeah, I agree. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've watched a million games of his. I would never lie. I would never mislead the audience in relation to my knowledge on a player. I've never done that. Never will. What I have seen of him, very, very talented. What I've read about him, reads exceptional. And you do your research. And I know that we always wind up Don for doing his research, but you do it. And the more I do, the more people I listen to, the general consensus is still a little raw, still levels for him to improve, but can play two positions. For his age, he's sensational. And the one thing I read in a scouting report about him, which I think was really, really key, is how brilliant his leadership skills are at such a young age. And I think that's absolutely massive. The only negative I see is because everything you read about him at a young age reads like De Ligt. Now, I like De Ligt at Man United. I thought he was very good last year. Did De Ligt leave Ajax too young? That's the only question mark I have on this deal, is could it come too early in his career at 19? And my view is only if Chelsea fans are expecting him to be the main centre-back, the leader of the team, and this superstar. He's also not moving for the same type of money, which brings with it that type of pressure. So that's the only negative I really see with it. I think he's brilliant. And Xavi Simons, again, go back and look at content from the past. Yes, at the Euros, I remember people go, oh, we didn't do too much. The Netherlands aren't a very good team. Leipzig are not a particularly great team. Now, you could make an argument, well, Terry, you like Šeško and you like Xavi Simons. How can you like two of their players and they'd not be a very good team? Well, I've seen world-class teams with brilliant players struggle and have bad seasons. I remember watching a team of Premier League champions for a while look like they were in a relegation fight. And that was Chelsea many, many years ago. And I'm using them as a case in point. I've seen teams, good teams, dip because of one or two reasons. That didn't suddenly make the players in that side bad for a particular season. And I think Xavi Simons is an excellent piece of business for Chelsea. I really do think it will pay. I think it will pay dividends. I really think it will pay dividends for them. So I think it's an excellent piece of business. I really, really do. Why have another channel called Terry Fleurs? Well, I can't have a channel in my own name. What do you mean? Well, I shouldn't have one in my own name. I don't understand it. Why not? So essentially, that's me giving my just individual short videos opinions on things. Mark Goldbridge has multiple channels. Lee Gunner has 2 channels. One's called Lee Gunner, and one's called Lee Gunner Reacts or Lee Reacts. Loads of people have 2 channels. Some have clips channels. You know, what's wrong with it? Am I not allowed? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm never allowed. Just really weird, right? I tell you, me and KJ often joke about this, that I'm often treated with a really, painted with a very different brush to other YouTubers. For instance, everyone does reaction videos. I do reaction videos. I'm out of order stealing content. You know, I'm out of order because I'm actually being told I'm out of order for paying people. And within paying people, you ask them, like KJ is a full-time employee, but he can't go off and work for other YouTube channels. I get told I'm controlling. I'm controlling for paying someone to do a job. There's loads of things I've had like that. It's like the moment I'm seeing a lot of stick for YouTubers who are doing kind of reaction videos and praising rivals. And you know what's really weird? What I'm seeing is I can't believe, this is what I read the other day from a big YouTuber. I hate seeing what Terry's doing now, like reacting to other clubs' transfer stories and other clubs' news and praising it, like copying what all the other YouTubers are doing. And I'm sitting there like, hello. Hello. I mean, I was not the first maybe, but I've been doing it for years. You know, I always find it strange that I do things first and then get called out for it. Or if I do the same things that other people are doing and get called out for it. I never understood it. Never got it. On a real level, I lose no sleep over it. I do find it funny. It does make me laugh. But yeah, like there was a YouTuber not long ago that accused me of stealing the phrase Arsenal was scary. And again, it wasn't a phrase. It was just something I felt at the time. Yeah, it's just crazy. Anyway, let's move on. There we go. Some guy keeps writing something about copyright infringement. I've no idea what you're saying, mate. Please stop it or the mods will time you out. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get back to the transfers. Xavi Simons, this is Xavi Simons and Gittins, when then, in my opinion, our left wing spot is covered. Only addition I'm happy with would be Rodgers if we sell Jackson. Well, on that, let's take a little listen to this video that has come out from Fabrizio Romano in relation to Chelsea and another deal maybe.
Don't forget about the situation of Alejandro Garnacho, who remains a player appreciated by Chelsea and remains a case to watch in this summer transfer window, because Garnacho will leave for sure Manchester United, and Chelsea are still following the situation closely for Ale.
So he said there, Fabrizio, that one thing to still look at is Alejandro Garnacho for Chelsea. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want to see him sold because I want to see Man United buy more players. But I stand on what I've said all along. I don't really want to see him, Rashford, any of these players go to a Premier League club because they have, especially on a permanent deal, because they have 2 opportunities a year to hurt you. They have 2 chances a year to hurt you. They have 2 chances a year to damage you. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want that. That's it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. That's a straight. I don't care how petulant. I don't care. I just don't want it. However, it keeps coming. And I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't like it, but I saw Carefree Lewis. He commented on Fabrizio's post about it last night. And Carefree Lewis's words were, why won't this go away? And I will say this, just like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, just like the Jackson links to Man United, they've never been ignored on the terrace, although there's nothing credible in them yet. I share the same sentiment. They won't go away. They haven't been 100% shut down. And I keep the same energy for all transfers. When the rumor persists and doesn't go away, there's always the chance it stings you. Like a wasp around a picnic table. If it doesn't go away and it keeps buzzing, at some point it's going to it's going to sting you, right? Because at one point you're going to hit it and annoy it, and it's going to come back and it's going to start stinging you. And I think that about these deals that we consider bad. You know, Man United fans may not consider Chelsea getting him bad, but Chelsea fans do. There's something in it. It won't go away. Now, does Xavi Simons mean that's the left side taken care of? It may very well mean that. It may very well mean it ends. I also think if Chelsea end their interest in Garnacho, I think the Garnacho move speeds up. Although right now, when it comes to Garnacho, there's a lot of the player hasn't. There's been no formal conversations, this, that, and third. I do agree with that. There haven't been any formal conversations with other clubs yet. But I think that's because Garnacho's camp are waiting on Chelsea. Why would you, think about this from a Garnacho perspective, why would you agree a move to Villa today when you know Chelsea are still circling? You're going to wait. You're going to wait. Why would you not? It would make 0 sense. 0 sense for them to go, yeah, let's just do it today. Maybe in another week or two as we get real close to the start of the Prem. But you remember, Garnacho has got until the end of August to get this move. Garnacho isn't thinking like clubs are about the beginning of the season per se. He could wait till the end. So, you know, Chelsea might also look at it and go, listen, we're going to see how we start the season. We may or may not come in for you. Garnacho might sit there and go, well, I'm going to take the risk and wait. He might not. He may not. But there's always that possibility because he's waiting on a Premier League club. So that story's real. That story can happen. That deal can happen. Listen, let's wait and see what gets over the line. Terry, you're doing a great job. People only attack you because of jealousy. Yeah, look, I don't even know if it's jealousy, to be honest with you. I'm not arrogant enough to think anybody's jealous of me. I don't pay it that much care and attention. All I would say is this. I see too many viewers. I don't like it. Not just about me. I don't like that Lee Gunner does emergency meetings. I don't like that Henry Wright does this. I don't like that Dan Potts has started praising other clubs. I don't like Terry's titles. Don't fucking watch it then. If you click on the not interested button, this is where I know that these people are bullshitters, bitches, and liars. If you click I'm not interested on a video for YouTube, or you unfollow an account and you say not interested on it or don't recommend it to me, they don't show it. Same as on Twitter. If you mute people, block people, mute certain words and click on not interested in... But anytime I see anything political on my X feed, first thing I do is click not interested in this. And then I might go a month without seeing another one. So people bullshit. They seek out things to moan about it. And that's why my message to all YouTube is ignore the haters. Do what you enjoy doing, no matter what other people think, and just crack on with it. Because anyone who doesn't like what you're doing, they're not your audience. Considering it's free, by the way. We're not the BBC that everyone has to pay for. It's free. If you don't like that Dan Potts now does thumbnails like this, you just don't have to watch him. And if you don't watch him, you won't see it. Fucking weirdos, mate. Absolute wrong-uns, bruv. Every single one of them. Anyway, let's move on. I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. Big story last night. Now, this feeds into Arsenal massively and your pursuit of Rodrygo. Now, I have read this morning in Spain that Arsenal have called their pursuit on Rodrygo. That has not been corroborated by the likes of Ben Jacob that said there is still a big interest. But have Liverpool pulled out? Or have Liverpool not even got started? James Pearce. Now, let me just start by saying, I know James Pearce has pissed off a lot of Liverpool fans for criticizing the club. But let's just also not pretend that he doesn't have connections at the club. Let's just also not pretend that he doesn't have insight and information. Let's be fair about this. And he has stated that Liverpool are yet to receive an improved bid from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz. The player has trained normally so far this week in Hong Kong, Madrid, and you know what, there's something significant about that, because we're seeing, you know, Man United talk about Onana like he's injured. Is he really? He's already gone on. He's meant to be out for 6 weeks. He's gone on tour. Right? We're going to get onto Isak in a minute. Thigh injury, not going on tour. But he missed the game the other day, not for injury, for being protected. Just saying, it don't smell right. But Luis Diaz training normally, significant maybe. Says here, Real Madrid's Rodrygo currently not viewed as a possible replacement if Diaz goes. No talks. So James Pearce is shutting that down. Now, what's interesting, and the reason why I talk about this is in the pursuit of Isak, one of the reasons why this whole time I felt it was possible, not definitely going to happen, and I'll get onto that in a minute. My mind is changing, by the way. Not definitely going to happen, but possible, is because none of the major, none of the respected, none of the big Liverpool journalists shut it down like this. From around late March, early April, we started seeing Liverpool talking to the camp. And I didn't see the camp of Isak. I didn't see a single Lynch, Pearce, Joyce. They're the three main Liverpool journalists that they all trust and respect to a certain degree. Not one of them came out and said, zero interest from Liverpool, no talks, unlikely, not viewed as an option. When those journalists say that, take it seriously. Has always been the message Liverpool fans are pumped into me. So when I read this story today, or this update 17 hours ago from James Pearce, I'm not going to write off Liverpool and Rodrygo 100%. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But I can't ignore it. I can't look at this story and say, well, it means absolutely nothing. Not viewed as a possible replacement. No talks. Why have Liverpool pushed that message into him? Now, Paul Joyce hasn't repeated it yet. Let's see what comes out. We're looking at David Lynch and others that are connected to Liverpool. But that's very significant. Maybe we'll get an Ornstein or a Fabrizio in the next few days, a Ben Jacobs, of course, that will come out and corroborate this. Maybe they'll give a slightly tamer version and say, well, there's been no formal talks. They have other options in mind. And listen, there's two things behind this, and we'll get back to Arsenal and Rodrygo in a minute. There's an element here of Anthony Gordon is a big target. But I think what's maybe even more significant is this, and it's that Alexander Isak has not traveled with Newcastle to Singapore for the preseason tour. Hasn't gone. Hasn't traveled. Newcastle insist, and it's the word insist. Newcastle insist it's due to not due to transfer reasons, with the striker still nursing a minor thigh injury. Why they take him out the game Saturday? Why? That still doesn't make sense. And now what we're seeing is the player. Now what we're seeing is the player not going preseason tour. So when I look at the Rodrygo situation, I know Isak and Ekitike together may seem a little bit unbalanced. But both Isak and Ekitike can operate on the wings very, very well. Plus, Gakpo remains at the club. Equally, they're also stating, Liverpool, that they're not interested. Maybe they've been telling the truth. Maybe they don't want to sell Luis Diaz. Maybe they're honest and just going, we're going to keep Luis Diaz and we're going to buy Ekitike and we're going to go after Alexander Isak. The crazy part is you've got journalists shutting down the idea, credible Liverpool journalists shutting down the idea of Rodrygo, but they're not shutting down the idea of Isak. Even after they've signed Ekitike, they're not shutting it down. Why? I'm not saying it will happen. Some will say, Terry, you're putting 2 and 2 together and getting 38. Maybe. I'm aware it may not happen. I'm not delusional here. It's just still one of these weird transfers and nobody wants to talk about it. It's like this big elephant in a room that people want to not speak on. And I think this is massive news for Arsenal. I think it's gargantuan news for Arsenal because Ben Jacobs has reiterated in the last. I want to get his actual. I'm going to go read his actual update here that's come through because I want to make sure I read it correctly for you. He has come out and said that that's a nobody statement. Where's it gone? Where's it gone here? You know, he has stated and maintained this that nothing's changed yet. And we know nothing has changed yet because Rodrygo is still weighing up his future. He's still deciding what he wants to do. Real Madrid is still also deliberating over the players they're going to use primarily this season. But he still says that Arsenal hold a genuine and strong interest and, of course, held exploratory talks a while back. Fabrizio Romano has stated that Arsenal are not done yet. The one thing we haven't seen with Arsenal, and look, the Spanish press are saying that they've called their interest. And again, I won't write them off. But again, the Spanish press said that Zubimendi was going to be hijacked. So I'm not going to take it as the truth and the full gospel. Arsenal still want Rodrygo as far as we can gather based on the stories that are circulating in football right now. And I think that is hugely, hugely significant, considering that James Pearce has said that it's not now an option for Liverpool. So what do you make of it? Are Liverpool out of this race? I mean, in fact, will they ever... I mean, they're out of it if they weren't in it. What do you make of it? What is your opinions? And my view is this. If these stories are true, and it is an if, because we're just a football community of fans talking about transfer stories here. I'm not an in the know. Yes, I've got a little bit of contact with journalists privately and have conversations, but I'm still only reiterating to you what gets put into the stories. I don't have any inside information. As in, I'm not privy to what's going on at Madrid or at Liverpool. I don't get to speak to a board of directors, right? What do you think is going to happen? I really want your opinions on this as a community this morning, because for me, there's something about this James Pearce news that I find intriguing and truthful. This Liverpool are still not shutting down Isak. But what this does mean for me is if Arsenal do have a relatively clear run in terms of the English teams looking at Rodrygo, they've got to go and get this done. They can't fumble this Arsenal. No excuses. The only club I would worry about if I was Arsenal is Bayern Munich. That's the only one I would worry about because they have got money. Well, they maybe don't have as much money as they used to. If they miss out on Luis Diaz, based on what I've said, they're gonna go for Rodrygo. I don't think Rodrygo picks PSG. I think PSG are so stacked. There's the possibility that he ends up in a similar situation to what he sees himself in at Madrid, unless they sell Bacola. Again, that might present an opportunity for Arsenal. And I think if Arsenal put me in a room with Rodrygo to tell him the difference between Arsenal and Bayern Munich, I'm making him pick Arsenal. And I'll tell you why I'm making him pick Arsenal. Bayern Munich is so historic and amazing. And there's a fantastic prestige that comes with playing for them. He can elevate them. He could help them get closer towards winning Champions Leagues, and he could be massively successful. And all of that is true. And I'm not playing down Bayern Munich at all. But my sales pitch, and by the way, I wish I could do this for Man United, but it's just too far-fetched because we're not where Arsenal are. It would be come and join one of the best teams in England at the moment in what is looking like. And I think Mark Goldbridge has spoken about this so perfectly. What the Premier League is currently looking like is the top four currently, Chelsea, Arsenal, City and Liverpool, look like they're about to pull away from everybody else. And it's almost like they're going to create this super mini league within the Premier League. And I'd be selling that to him. I would be selling the idea. This is how I'd convince him to not join the PSG or a Bayern Munich. I'd even advocate to him that, yes, you go to those teams, you're winning the league title. Guarantee. You're going to win most of the domestic trophies. Guarantee. Fantastic chance of winning Champions Leagues. Guaranteed. But I think we're about to enter the second actually the third really, but the third golden generation of the Premier League. What we've seen 2014 to sort of 2022 was a very good era of the Premier League. But it was only ever one, sometimes two teams each season that were genuinely capable of winning the league. What we haven't witnessed, like at some points in the 90s when it blew up, and then what we saw kind of 2004 to like 2012, 12, 3, but often 4 teams a season, 1 capable of winning the Prem and all 4 capable of winning the Champions League. We're about to go into that era again. Plus 2 or 3 in the chasing pack that are also very good. The sales point for me into Rodrygo, and by the way, if Liverpool do go in for him, same thing, because it will still be hard for Liverpool versus those teams. It's come and join that pack. Come and join that group. The most watched league in the world. We're going to have more eyes on us. If what we believe is true, what we believe is coming between those 4 teams, forget the billions that watch us more now than any other league anyway. It's going to become even more intense. Now, imagine being part of that and maybe getting over the line. What that does for your legacy as a football player is bigger. It's massive. Because if you're in the most watched league and you end up being one of the best teams and you win that trophy in a golden era, it's how you become remembered in football. Like people like, again, when Wayne Rooney and co were doing it in that era I mentioned, La Liga was bigger. La Liga had the bigger stars. La Liga was a bigger league at that point. It's the other way around now. And I don't care if you prefer La Liga. That's not what I'm saying. You may think it's better. You're allowed to. More people in Spain watch the Premier League than watch La Liga, according to stats. I'm talking about eyes on the game. That would be my sales pitch. Whether I was Liverpool, whether I was Arsenal. I wish I was Man United in there. But that's what I would do. And I think there's a great chance he comes to the Premier League. I really, really do. But look, I want your views. I want your opinions, please, people. But Arsenal, I end that little bit by saying this. Arsenal have got according to James Pearce, from an English perspective, have a clear run at the player. They've got to go and get it done. No excuses for me. No excuses whatsoever. A lot of people said, Terry, but Arsenal have no Champions Leagues. I know they don't. But again, that's a sales pitch. He may not want that, but my sales pitch would be, you're the difference between having none. And I said it yesterday, and I do stand on this. I get Liverpool more attractive. Not changing my mind on that. But it isn't like Arsenal were unattractive. If Rodrygo joins Liverpool and wins them 2 Champions Leagues in 5 years, 6 years, he'll be a legend, potentially. He'll be a folk hero. Go and do something like that at Arsenal, you'll be immortalized to the highest degree. He goes in there for 5 years, scores loads of goals, wins them a Prem and a Champions League. That's Henry status. And that isn't a dig. Again, some are going to take that as I'm glazing Arsenal. You could also twist it into a mini dig. It isn't. It's just honesty. But the level to become a legend at Arsenal isn't as high as it is at Liverpool. The standard to be immortalized at Liverpool is harder than at Arsenal because they haven't achieved what Liverpool have achieved yet in football. That can be sold to some with the right salesperson. And that's what you need in this, salespeople. With the right salesperson, with the right pitch, you can make that more attractive. It's literally, and Liverpool fans can't disagree, it's literally that it didn't work and it should have done. It's literally what they all advocated as the sales pitch to keep Coutinho. Go to Barca and win things, or Bayern and win things. You'll just be another name that's won things there. Stay with this Liverpool team and help us win a league title. You're immortalized. And it's the truth. If Philip Coutinho stayed at Liverpool, by the way, they still would have spent big and would have achieved the league title, the Champions League with them, he'd have a much bigger legacy in football than what he achieved outside of it. Because when you think Barcelona, you never think Coutinho. When you think Bayern Munich, you never think Coutinho. In 20 years' time, you might think Liverpool. Rodrygo might not come into your head. Even if he wins the Champions League, he might not. Even the league title, because they've won 2 now. It's different to that group that won the first one in 30 years. That group's immortalized. It's a real thing. And Liverpool fans know this to be true because they went through this exact same thing. So listen, loads to talk about, loads to jump into. We're going to take your calls on the show this morning as well. Let me share that link now in the live chart. Let me get that done. Where has my Word doc gone? Oh no, I've not deleted it, have I? Have I shut it down? Why is it not here? There it is. I have a Word doc with all the word typed out. I've got to change the link on it, and then I paste it into the chat because it saves me sitting here and typing. That's upstairs for thinking, downstairs for dancing. Is that the right link? That's the right link. Right, I've pinned the link into the live chat so you guys can call in. Fucking hell, Emil got there quick. Emil must have quit. How quick are you, Emil? Kmack and all. The speed I clicked on that link. Jesus. I know, KJ. I can see you, KJ. I'm bringing you on. I can tell when you want to come on. The camera's on. I don't know what that means. Type it in the private chat. I don't know what you mean. Oh, Ben Jacobs update. Ben Jacobs update. What's he said? Oh! Oh! Hey! 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 Come on! Wolves have just signed a player. Thanks, KJ. No, I'm joking. It's the one underneath it. It's the one underneath it. I hear it. I hear it. See, I like this. I like it. Man United have held fresh talks over Ollie Watkins. Villa's 60 million valuation currently deemed as too high, but United are prepared to advance things if the price drops. Villa have no plans to alter their price unless a replacement is found. Nico Jackson is one they appreciate. Come on, Chelsea. Sell him, Nico. Come on. I like that. I like that. There's a rumor from... I do find this about Man United fans. I'm going to bring you guys out in a minute. I'm going to bring you guys out. What I find really interesting about Man United fans at the minute is Chris Wheeler put out a story that we might not have a striker for the start of the season. And that's true. It could happen. But I love how we jump on that and go, man, we already knew this. We already knew it. We're not even going to make any moves. We're dead. We're finished. And we go, okay. We go, cool. Okay. Sweet. We all kind of say that, right? But if Chris Wheeler put out a story today saying we're going to make a move for Belieber, we'll all go, fucking liar. No credible. Not credible. That's the one thing I don't like about Man United fans at the minute is we pick and choose when we want to believe a journalist. We pick and choose when we want to believe a story. I like this. I like Ollie Watkins. The price has got to drop a little bit for it to be a good deal. But I said it before and I'll say it again. The price point is what keeps changing my mind on it. I've realized why I keep changing my mind on what striker I want is the price point. It's the price point I keep thinking about that makes my mind change. At the right price, to have 3 of the top 8 goal scorers in the Premier League last year is brilliant. You almost can't wish for a better summer than that. Maybe you can with Gyökeres, but do you know what? In reality, it's brilliant. In fact, we did the math the other day. It's the barring maybe Mateta, it's the top 3 best attackers in the league that were available to Man United. Because we weren't getting Palmer. We weren't getting Isak. We're not getting Haaland. We're not getting Salah. You start to go through the rest of the names on that list. Won't be bad business at all. We're taking calls on that if you guys want to come on. We've got KJ coming on. We've got Cal. We've got... Who's Rocky? It's my dog's name. Sorry. You see a name that's associated to your life. Like, who's that? Like the other day, where did I go? I had to go to the hospital. I'm all good, by the way. And then I had to go see somebody. They said, you got to see the nurse. I was, what's her name? They said, Freya. It was so weird talking to another woman called Freya because I have a daughter called Freya. I just find it strange. But yeah, I saw Rocky. No disrespect, bro. My dog's called Rocky, named after the boxer, of course. My kids discovered who I named my dog after the other day. They were going through my DVDs. I used to collect DVDs, and I've got about 3,000 movies on DVD that I'm not going to get rid of because I don't watch them anymore because I don't have a DVD player, but they're there. And they were going through them and they were like, Daddy, look, that's the dog's name. I was like, that's who the dog's named after. Yeah. Not saying you're named after my dog, by the way, mate. Not comparing it to my dog, just the name, bruv. So please don't be offended. Right. Hit the like and the share button, please, people. Make sure you are subscribing to the show if you haven't done so already. KJ is joining me first. I was about to put my earphones on. We're going to be getting a quick update from him. Then we're talking Rodrygo to Arsenal. Have Liverpool pulled out? Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you. Simons and Hato, plus Garnacho linked. Also, Isak to Liverpool. Is he coming, or does he really have a thigh strain? Does he have a thigh strain? Why is he running in the park? I don't know. Talk to me, people. Talk to me. KJ's here with me now. Morning, mate. You all right?
Yes. Legit. The first thing I want to say is I was trying to tell you that the reason why people came on quick is because I put the link in the chat first. That's what I'm trying to say. And then also, I was trying to get your attention to the Jacobs news, but apparently YouTube has banned the word cracker. I don't know why. Every time I put Jacobs cracker in, it said it rejected it. When I just put Ben Jacobs in, it accepted it. So try it now. Try put Cracker into the thing.
I think it works. Were you logged into with the Terrace account, or you on it with a different account?
Terrace and the extra, both Terrace channels.
It's let me put it in on YouTube, but what I can't do, I can't see it here on StreamYard. StreamYard don't. It's because it's a slur to white people, Cracker. But the thing is, as well, it's also we're not using it. It's Jacob's Cracker because of the Jacob's Cracker that you put cheese on. Jesus.
Yeah, like, so what? We can't have Christmas crackers no more. What is this woke nonsense?
Let's see if we. Let's see if we write Christmas cracker. Does that come up? No, it rejects it. It rejects it. It rejects the word Christmas fucking cracker. See, that there is utter woke nonsense.
Woke nonsense.
I tell you, the funniest one I ever saw was Neeks. Now, if people are not aware, Neeks is of Caribbean descent and he's a black man. Okay, he, when replying to, it was either to a black football player or about a black football player.
Oh yeah,
it was an embarrassing thing that was said. He just put the monkey emoji with his hands over his eyes. He literally got a week ban on YouTube. He got a week ban on YouTube, and it's like, use your brains, right? Look at the context of the emoji. 2, look who's leaving the post. How is it racist? It's crazy. It's like me writing. Imagine the YouTube channel gets shut down. Why? Because Terry wrote the word Jacob's cracker about Ben Jacobs in relation to a cheese cracker. Imagine it's crazy, man.
Crazy. I blame Trump in it. It's clearly Trump's fault. Clearly Trump got into the phone with YouTube and said, "Listen, the word cracker, can't have that, man."
Yeah, too many white people are offended. I mean, in England, no one gets called that. It's not even a thing here. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not even a thing.
Anyway, big digression. Anyway, oh wait, cream crackers works. What the hell? So cream with TM next to it. So cream crackers works, but just cracker by itself.
I just tried the word honky. That don't work either. I said it though. That was what my brother used to get called at school, and again, no one was offended by it. So hang on, yes, cream. Let me write cream cracker. Cream cracker. No, that rejected me putting it in.
What is going on?
Oh, but let me try it that way. Cream cracker TM. Hey, that worked. Right. You got to put the TM on the end. That worked. All right, there we go.
Jacob's, I'm going to change it now.
Hang on. In fairness, we can just trademark Jacob's cracker for Ben. Do you know what I mean? We can do that. Yeah. Crazy times. Anyway, transfers. Talk to me, KJ.
Yeah, so the last few days I've been swilling around in my head what to do at the striker position. I've been looking at Premier League strikers. I've been thinking about maybe some foreign strikers to the point where I thought, you know what, Evan Gossons from Nice, that could be a potential signing. He plays in the front three. He can play across all of the front three positions. He's played in the back three in a 3-4-3 for Nice. So I was thinking that. But then Mark, our friend Mark, put the gif of Watkins on Twitter with ... And then it got me thinking, oh, Man United looking at more towards the Watkins. So I started to look at Watkins more closely. Terry, the man has 10 plus goals in every single PL season that he's been in the Premier League. I think the record's like 14-11. Let me get this up real quick because I sent it to you earlier today. His record in the Premier League, starting from his first season in 2021 season, was 14-11, 15-19, 16. The way that people talk about him, you think he's had like a purple patch, and last season was an amazing season. The rest of them were scoring like 8 goals or something. The guy scored 10 plus Premier League goals each season. That's an excellent return. Plus, I watched all of his Premier League goals for Wolves earlier, for Aston Villa earlier, and I was looking at his play, his finishing, his movement, his heading ability, the way that he can press, the way that he can hassle defenders. He's got decent link up. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's not the worst signing in the world. Now, the biggest thing will be is obviously how much would it cost? 60 million is way too much for him. He's going to be 30. You would expect he's got like 3 more years at the top level before you got start to say that maybe he's declining, because he keeps himself in shape as well. and he's barely injured too. So that's one thing about him that I respect as well. So I would expect like 3 years, 2 to 3 years at the top, and then maybe a fourth, maybe. So 60 million for that is a bit too much. But if we can get it down to like 35 to 40 million, if we can somehow entice Aston Villa to also bid for Garnacho at a higher price that we would sell by Watkins for, I think it would be an excellent deal. And I think it's the striker that would suit what we're trying to do. Like, I personally would want Mateta, but Watkins has got a better history in the Premier League than Mateta. Mateta, remember, had like those 2 seasons where he scored like 1 and 3 goals. And then he just came alive 2 seasons ago and he's continued on. But if you want actual Premier League proven, if we're actually going for that, then Ollie Watkins is that. And I think he's better than Rasmus. He's better than Xerxes. Him alongside a Cunha and a Mbumo, that is guaranteed goals. With Bruno in behind, with Ahmad to the side as well, that's guaranteed goals. And that will cover up a lot of our problems going into the season. And we'll win games, and that's the big thing. We would win games.
Yeah, I don't think any Man United fan is, because I think me and Staffy are having this conversation. None of us are like looking at these striker options again, all perfect, all brilliant, all amazing. I saw this stat the other day, and I think this is key because strikers are judged on goals primarily. In the last 3 Premier League seasons, so let's not just look at 1 year, look at 3 years. 50 goals. The only 3 players to have more goals than him in the last 3 years are Isak, Salah, Haaland. Let's use non-penalty goals because people like that stat, okay? Open play goals. So all goals excluding penalties. Yes, 47. Only 2 players have more goals than him is Salah on 50 and Haaland on 68. He has more non-penalty goals than Isak in the last 3 seasons. Assists, 27 assists in 3 seasons. Only Salah and Salah and Saka have more. Bruno Fernandes is just behind him on 26. GA combined, all in, 77 GA in the last 3 years. Only Salah and Haaland have more. So from an outputs perspective, I've said all along, I like that. And Man United need goals. This is one thing Man United fans have to understand. We are not fixing every hole, every problem, every issue in our squad this summer. We actually have to paper over some cracks. Goals do that. Watkins at the right price. Mbumo, Cunha. I think you're looking at an additional 40 league goals. I think between those, I would expect 40 league goals between those guys. And I don't think it's obscene to go, what's that between them? Like 15, it's less than 15 goals each. And I think that is plausible between them as a unit with Ahmad, with Delo, with Bruno feeding them. I think that is achievable by those individuals. And I think that pushes us into a different category in the league. Yes, we need energy and legs in midfield as well. I'm not denying, and a goalkeeper. But that could be the difference between us actually getting back into the top half of the league and even having a push for a European position. So listen, if we can get the price down, again, I'm not putting the bunting out. I'm not going, wow, best striker signing in many years. But if we're lining up against Arsenal opening day of the season at Old Trafford, and our attack is Mbumo, Cunha, Watkins, we've got a far better chance of beating them than if we're doing it with Xerxes or Højlund up top. So, yeah, I'm all for it myself personally. Go on, mate.
And also, like, the signing of Watkins, it just brings more maturity and professionalism to this squad, which we've been lacking in the last how many years. And someone like him, you can then stomach a Højlund staying. Now, he wants to stay. The reports are saying he loves the club. He's a Man United fan. So, of course, he's going to want to stay. And for as much as he isn't the greatest, we've cussed out players and we've criticized players for not wanting to play for the badge. But we have a player who wants to play for the badge in Højlund, but he's just not good enough. So obviously we just want to bin him off, right? But if it meant getting Watkins, but Højlund stays, I don't want it, but I could stomach it. Because at least I'd be like, yo, there's an experienced striker in front of him. He can actually teach him something, because who has he had to teach him? in front of him. Xerxes ain't teaching him nothing. And we had Martial when he was here as well. And Martial was crocked. And again, he's not the 8-out-and-out striker either. So at least with Watkins, you get some kind of mentorship they can give Højlund to hopefully see if he can become better. Again, I will still sell Højlund. But if we get Watkins, I can accept Højlund staying as a backup.
I hear that. I do. Viewers, give us your thoughts. Give us your opinions. We're going to take some more calls now. First on the show with us today, we're going to go to Elijah, who I assume is here to talk Hato and Simons. What you saying, bro?
You're too in, KG. How are you?
Very, very good, my friend. Two new signings, very, very close to being announced, according to sources, to Chelsea in Hato and Simons. Are you happy with them? Excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about Hato because I feel like he's a very good call for Cucurella. I just watched his compilation and he's a very good player. Like, his defending is really good. When it comes to like his cross and his passing is also really good as well. Like, and I feel like Hato would definitely work in Maresca's system because we all know that he loves to play Cucurella inverted into the midfield. And I feel like with Hato, this guy is 19 years old and he was the captain for Ajax, you know, which is absolutely crazy. But listen, Hato and Simons, I feel like these will really work. Now, the Simons, I'm not quite sure what position we're going to put him in because people are saying number 10, but sometimes we put Enzo Fernandez there or João Pedro there, or you know, left wing, maybe, but we have to see what Gittins is going to play in that position. And also Pedro Neto can play in that position, but I feel like we're going to play more Pedro Neto on the right wing while they're on the left. But listen, I feel like these are really good signings, especially Hato, you know, because we in the Champions League next season, and depends on how far we go into that competition. Cucurella needs some rest, man, because last season when we got rid of Vega, he was our only left back in this system. So for me, I feel like Hato will be a great cover. I don't think he's going to be starting games, but let's say that Cucurella gets like suspended or he gets injured. I think Hato will be a great cover for Cucurella in that position. So to be honest with you, Terry, I'm not really that angry with these signings. I feel like they really would do good in our manager's system.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think they really suit what you're doing. I see a lot more confidence in Chelsea fans with their signings now as your team's starting to play better and things are coming together. So I hear that. Elijah, thank you for calling in, mate. I appreciate it a lot, bro. Thank you, mate. We've got Kmack on with us next. Kmack, two big stories for Liverpool today. One, your number one target's got a thigh injury and is training by himself and not going on tour. But also James Pearce stating that essentially Rodrygo's a non-starter. What's your thoughts on both those stories, my friend?
I wouldn't write off James Pearce. Like, he works for the Athletic. Like, a lot of people seem to think he's got no contacts at Liverpool. That's not true. Like, he's still definitely in with the know.
He still has contacts at Liverpool. It's just he wrote an article about how you guys were playing that people didn't like. That doesn't make him uncredible. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And he also peed off Jürgen by mentioning something about his wife. Remember, he got kicked out the press.
And that has nothing to do with the club giving him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look, the Rodrygo thing. I think I'm probably the only person who thinks that the Rodrygo thing's just a load of nonsense. Like, why the hell would Xabi Alonso want the only guy that does any tracking back in his attack to leave? Like, he's such a highly rated player. Why is Xabi Alonso getting rid of him? Like, I just don't see that one happening at all. I just don't. Real Madrid players just don't leave. Like, they just don't leave Real Madrid. Like, so I just don't see that one happening.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a disservice to Rodrygo. We've seen many a Real Madrid player leave and still do well.
I didn't say he's bad.
No. But
I said, why would you want to get rid of him if he's such a good player?
Yeah, but that's just what I'm saying. You're undercoating it. Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're underlying it with a bit of doubt of his ability. Listen, Real Madrid have seen they got rid of Ozil, they got rid of Di Maria. They've got rid of players when it feels like it's ready for them to get rid of. They got rid of Varane. All three of those players were still good for the clubs that they went to afterwards. Di Maria had an amazing career. Look, yeah, he had a bad period with us. But when he was at PSG, amazing. Ozil, very good for Arsenal. Varane, we actually needed Varane. Like, he was very good for United too. Made us win 2 trophies after being trophyless. So, like, when Real Madrid get rid of players, yes, it's like, what's going on? There must be that good. But sometimes Real Madrid just do these things. Sometimes like, okay, cool, we're ready to move on from you, and we'll transition to some other players, and they're good at doing that. So I wouldn't say it's a slight on Rodrygo. It happens sometimes. Football happens. You move on. New manager comes in. He's got new ideas, and you don't fit in that. I don't know why Rodrygo doesn't. But hey, as a Liverpool, if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't care why they're getting rid of him. I would just be like, buy him. You know what I mean? Because he's a quality player.
The issue I've got really is Liverpool right now are kind of building a team around players that don't have egos, and there seems to be a lot of egos at Real Madrid. And I don't know whether Rodrygo's like that, but I'm a little bit wary about maybe going for someone from Real Madrid. And to be honest, I'd rather Liverpool never spoke to Real Madrid again, if I'm completely honest, and just switch the phone off.
I hear you. I look at it I think it's a combination of things. I think it's partly the player might want to leave as well. I think he wants to be in a more natural position for himself.
Oh yeah, he's been playing on the wrong side.
Exactly. So I think there's a possibility he goes. What do you make of the Isak situation? Do you think there's something to be read into this? You know, missing the preseason game, they said it was to protect him. Now missing the preseason tour because of a little thigh injury. No one shutting down completely the possibility of him leaving, rejecting the contract offer. Newcastle being frustrated that he wants so much money. There's so much noise around this. Rarely do you get this much noise at once and it all just be coincidental.
Look, I just want to say one thing about Isak, okay? And this is no slight on Newcastle, by the way, at all. Like, I do like Newcastle. They're a great club and they've got great fans. Most teams that have quite possibly the first or second best striker in the entire league don't have them playing for a fifth team, for a team that just scrapes of the Champions League. Like, and they've done it twice. They scraped the Champions League last time against Liverpool because they beat us to it, and they've done it again. Most teams in the Premier League that aren't either the winners or second or third have the best striker. Newcastle need to understand that this guy isn't going to stay around. Like, he's not an Alan Shearer where he loves the club and he's always wanted to play for them and he'll turn down anything. This guy's giving you blood, sweat and tears like for years now. And he got you into the Champions League twice, and he's also won you a cup. He scored the winner. Like, I just think this is starting to feel a little bit like Coutinho-esque, where there's an injury, he's not gone on tour. These are all the same things that happened with Coutinho, and eventually he moved out of the club for a huge amount of money, which is probably going to be the same. And you have to look at Isak now. Like, he's 26 in September, I believe. He's hit 20 plus goals 2 years in a row. It's given me the vibes now that Isak's probably sat there with his agent and gone, am I going to win another trophy apart from maybe an FA Cup, maybe a Europa League? Because they're not going to win the Champions League. Like, that's just out of the question with some of the teams that are in it. So you have to look at Isak now, and his ambitions are, does he want to go to the next level? Does he want to play for Liverpool? Does he want to play for Barcelona? Does he want to play for one of those teams and compete for trophies and win more trophies at the top level? And who is going to be able to afford him to get him out of that club right now? And there's only one team for me, and it's Liverpool, because they're the ones who seem to be flexing the money.
No, listen, I think you make a lot of great points there, Kmack. And I think that, again, I've seen it at my club. I remember when Ronaldo, the year before he left, the year he did leave, too much noise, it happened. Even when like the Rooney noise happened all those years ago, there was a build up to it all summer, and then later in the season. And there's nearly always an element of truth to these stories. There's no smoke without fire. Kmack, always a pleasure to speak, mate, and we'll chat again.
James Pearce would have shut it down.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Because he loves doing that.
look at the media, and I think you're going to see more Liverpool journalists repeat what James Pearce has said about Rodrygo. Not one of them in 5 months has done that about the Isak story. You can't ignore that, in my personal opinion. Mate, we'll speak again soon. Thank you, Kmack, for coming on. Top man, thank you. Aiden is on with us now. How you doing, mate? You're a Man United fan. What do you want to say, brother?
I just want to talk about the Watkins story, and also I want to speak a bit about Chelsea and how they're doing in the transfer window.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
With the Watkins, I would, as KJ said, 60 to 50 million, I think would be a bit too much. For Watkins, I'd pay probably about 40 million. But if we get him, it'll be a good striker for Amorim's system, and also be able to help develop players around him. With Mbeumo and Cunha, I think we'll get a lot more creativity and goals and assists coming into the team anyway. I want a striker, but if we're looking at a striker, midfielder and goalkeeper, but there's been talk about apparently Amorim might not start the season with a striker. So if that's the case, I'd rather go for a midfielder first to then develop it in pre-season, because the midfield with Bruno and Casemiro just does not work. But we know Amorim is going to want to play with Bruno in the midfield, so you have to have either a more defensive player in there next to Bruno or someone just with legs, because realistically, Casemiro ain't got the legs, and if we're playing Bruno and Casemiro, it just isn't going to work.
Yeah, listen, I think for me, it's. I think we need the right. If we're gonna have a stopgap striker, and I think Staffy in our group chat summed it up brilliantly. Someone that we know what their ceiling is. We know Watkins, we know Mateta, we know they're never going to be world class. 110%. We know that they're not going to be world class players. But you know what you get out of them. You know they'll deliver for a period of time. Again, I kind of agree with you sooner rather than later on that. And if you can't get the right person at the right price, then I also agree. Put that money into put that. If you, whatever we've got for a midfielder, if they're saying no, 65, 70 million, you're not going to get the striker for anything less, then I do look at it and go, fucking go and buy Belieber. Actually fix an area completely in the team and address the striker situation. You can always go to you can always change the system slightly and put Bruno in the 10 with Cunha and Mbeumo ahead of him. Just turn it around the other way. There's little things that we can do that can kind of change things a little bit. So I agree with that massively. I do. What's your thoughts on the situation with? What's your thoughts on the situation in relation to Chelsea, the business they're looking at doing?
So the bit with Chelsea is obviously that I know their structure is to get a lot of young players and then develop and whatever, but it seems like a bit of a scattergun approach, because Xavi Simons, he's a very good player, but where's he going to play? With Palmer and the 10, he'll play more or less most Premier League games and Champions League games. I know they need to rest players, but they've got I feel like it's kind of, they're just seeing the best players that are available and buying them. I don't see much of a strategy going with them, because the thing is, they're buying a lot of players in similar positions that don't really do the same job realistically, which is just, it's weird because they need them. I know João Pedro is doing good, but if they sell Jackson, Delap and João Pedro aren't even, I don't think are up to getting the Chelsea goals they need, because the only one I see in that team really getting them double figure goals is Palmer. I think they need a striker more than they need wingers or whatever.
Listen, I hear your point. I think there's versatility in there, but I also think you've got to look at the fact that Nkunku's going to go. Jackson will probably go. João, what's his name? João Felix has gone already, and those guys are an important part of Chelsea's squad. They're all going to go. They're just backfilling with better quality, really, for me. And I think it's right that they're signing players like Xavi Simons, because if he gets to the levels that the hype and the ceiling's at, you create a really hard decision. Maybe somebody moves on a profit in the future for them if they can't fit them all into the same team. And I just don't see him doing as bad a job as those three. I think he'll end up doing a much better job than those individuals. I think even on the left-hand side, could he be any worse than Sancho? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there'll be enough game time for him. You know, they're aiming for a 60-game season. They're going to try and win every competition that they're in. I see the quality in it. I really, really do. Aiden, mate, good point. So, mate, top man for dialing in and having a say with us. We'll chat to you again soon, my man. Thank you. Emil was on with us now. What you saying, bro?
Hiya. How you doing, Terry?
I'm very good. What do you want to say, brother?
Well, about the Rodrygo thing, because there was a story about a few weeks ago that we sent Pini Zahavi down to negotiate with the player in Real Madrid. Paul Joyce said yesterday that Isak and Gay are still on the table. We're still interested in those players.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of things also with how many homegrown players we have. We need to shift a couple of non-homegrown players to bring more in. So Diaz, Nunez, Chiesa has to go to bring in 3 more non-homegrown players, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the Pierce post yesterday, given that we sent Zahavi down to negotiate, we already know what Real Madrid want, what the player wants. When Pierce says that we're not currently interested, I think that means that the demands were too high from the club or the player or both. So we're not interested at that price. That's all I think the Pierce post meant. So
Okay.
it's mostly every time a journalist posts anything sports related or politics or anything, someone's told that journalist to post that. So Pierce is a Liverpool journalist. This is Liverpool saying that we are not interested at that price point. That's what I think.
So you think if the price comes down or the players' wage demands come down, that you'll be in for him?
Yeah, I think so. Also because I think Isak is a priority.
Yeah. Look, I listen. I get you. I mean, there's that. It could also be that the players told you that he's got a preference of another club. All of our clubs do this, by the way. We all do there's one bit of PR that I've seen this summer that's so massive. He only wanted this club. How many times have we seen that this summer?
Yeah, I know.
But we also know that if that club pulled out, if Arsenal pulled out Gyökeres, he wouldn't stay at Sporting. He'd pick another football club. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that we also do it the other way. No, Man United have done it. Like we made no official bid for Gyökeres. Yeah, we tried to sign him. United made no official bid for Ekitike. Yeah, but we tried to sign him. Come on, I'm open to the rejection. But look, you could be very, very right there. What do you make of the what do you make of the Isak? What do you make of the Isak situation? Do you think he's really injured?
I really don't. Or if he is, why the hell isn't he on the tour? Why isn't he doing rehab with the rest of the team, the medical staff that's gone with the team? That's just weird. The thing about if Rodrygo had said, I want another club, I don't think Pierce would have written currently not interested. I think also the thing about being linked with the Fofana kid from Lyon, that's also a negotiating tactic because that's come out in the last 24, 48 hours, a lot of links to that player as well. So it's kind of what... when you hear Bayern linked with that kid as well, that's also a negotiating tactic with Diaz.
Yeah. Listen, I hear you, mate. It all could be. It's all part and parcel of the fun of the transfer window. Emil, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, bro. And we'll chat to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. Cal is on with us now. Cal is a gooner. What you saying, bro?
Hey. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to talk about the Rodrygo thing, and I actually have like just an angle that I don't think I haven't seen many people talk about it. There's this investigative journalist, Romain Molina. You guys know about him? From Spain, I'm pretty sure, and he basically broke a story about Rodrygo, and essentially Rodrygo's entourage and his dad, because his dad's his manager, has been extremely difficult to work with. They've been asking for like private jets and like a madness. They're asking for like the fees that they want, like for the transfer, their personal fees. They've kind of been a little bit of a nightmare to deal with, and I think that's why Arsenal kind of pulled out of the deal a bit earlier, because I know how my club is run. We don't like that sort of thing. Every time Arteta or anyone is in any interviews, they always talk about wanting players to want us and that sort of thing. And I think Liverpool's a similar club in terms of how they deal with these types of things. And I think because of the fees, the agent fees and that sort of thing, and essentially not necessarily Rodrygo himself, but the kind of entourage around him, how they're approaching this transfer, it's kind of rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And I think a lot of people are waiting for that to kind of cool down. Also another fact that a lot of people are not talking about is the fact that I think Madrid really want to sell Rodrygo at that 100 million price point, because I don't think it's a coincidence that they've like news has broken out that Madrid wants to buy Rodri from Man City. I think they're trying to fund that Rodri move with a sale, and Rodrygo is the only asset that they have that they're probably willing to give up that's worth that much money. And I think that's why they're so keen on doing that, because I don't think Rodrygo wants to leave Madrid. I think this is a bit of a shock to him. I think they're just like, they know that they need to fix that midfield, and Rodri has come out and he said he wouldn't mind going to Madrid. So Madrid, like, he said he's interested in Madrid. Madrid's interested in him. You know, I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm seeing stories about Madrid trying to prepare $100 million bid for Rodri, and they're asking $100 million for Rodrygo. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I think that's it. And I think until the demands have lowered, no one's going to go in for him. And honestly, even if Arsenal had a free run to Rodrygo tomorrow, we won't go in for him. We're not going to spend the money. We're trying to spend money. We're trying to accumulate funds to get Eze. And Eze is cheaper than Rodrygo. And the thing about Eze hits all the sort of requirements that we know that Arsenal Football Club like. The manager wants him. Once Arteta wants a player, that's already like a green tick. The player wants us, that's a green tick. The Arsenal players love him and want him in the club, that's another green tick. It's like tick, tick, tick. Arsenal, Arteta himself went up to the board and want more funds to get the deal across the line, specifically for Eze. So I think Eze, unless we don't sell anyone, I think that's probably going to end up happening with a sale or two. And I just don't see Rodrygo to Arsenal being a thing, whether we have a clear run or not, you know? So that's how I feel about the Rodrygo situation. We're just, like Arsenal fans, we're just not getting him. And it's not because I don't think we can get him, because I think Arsenal is an attractive club. There are a lot of players that want to play for us. It's just that the board will not spend that much money. They just won't do it. So
I think how his family are acting and his team are acting is just a response to he doesn't want to leave.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Give it towards the end of the season, at the end of the window. Let's see how he feels about leaving then. Because if Real Madrid really don't want him there, he's not going to play games. His attitude and his family's attitude will soon fix up to get the move out of that club. But right now, I think they're just trying to put teams off him so that he can go to Real Madrid. Well, look, no one's coming in for me. There's no point trying to get rid of me because no one's going to buy. But if Real Madrid's hold fast and say, nah, mate, you're not going to get game time, you're not going to be playing, you will quickly see how fast his team changed their antics and how they're behaving and their demands, because Rodrygo wants to play football. It's a World Cup year. He ain't going to be wanting to sit on the bench. So
that's true.
Yeah. I think Arsenal would have a chance. Arsenal do have a chance.
Yeah. We have a chance. I just don't think we're just not gonna spend. There's Wilsey Wu Ahmad. He put up, Kyle, how do you know Arsenal haven't put the Rodrygo money to one side while getting the funds for Eze? All assumptions. Bro, I've been on the positive vibe. Come on. We know Arsenal. They not say that didn't happen.
No, I hear you. I do hear you, right? And I get the cynicism, I get the skepticism. The few things I would say to counter that, just food for thought. Fabrizio has said on 3 occasions that this is going to be an unprecedented summer for Arsenal. There is also this train of thought that Mark Goldbridge has put out there. And again, this is just fan theory, and it isn't about Arsenal specifically. But and I'm a little bit surprised City haven't started spending a little bit more. But having said that, they've done 300 million in January. So I think we can't forget that. But you look how much money, if we include January as well, because a lot of that spending for City was in prep for next season anyway. If you look at the spending of the teams that all finished in those top 4 positions, you could get to the end of this summer where no one's going to break Chelsea's 600 million window, but you could end up with all 4 teams having a summer that sit inside the top 5 most spent windows in the history of the Premier League. So right now, I think Liverpool's spending has just gone into 3rd place ever. I think Chelsea have got number 1 on that 600 million. They also have 1 on 400 million. All the others are under 200 million. City and Chelsea and Arsenal's current summers could all sit inside the top 5 most spent summers in the history of Premier League football. Yes. And I don't even know if it's about prices going up. Because this summer, there's no way 3 years ago, Cunhas and Mbumos and these guys weren't going for 60 odd millions. They were all their clubs were all quoting 80, 100 million. That's why Kudos didn't leave, right? I think players are going cheaper, but more money is being spent. So I wouldn't completely write it off. I think what's also going on now is we're getting into this. Fans have created this notion of if you buy early and fast, that means you're ambitious and good. There is truth to that. There's truth to the good bit. But we're now getting into the deeper waters where everyone's got to sell. Everyone. Liverpool got to sell. Arsenal got to sell. Man United we keep hearing this about Rasmus, right? You keep hearing he doesn't want to leave. He'll only go if the club makes him. People go, I can't believe we're not forcing him out. Because if we say we want him to go, we lose value. But that's what we're doing with the 5. That's because their agents have told the world that we want them gone. They've released that information. They've made it public. We can't take that back. Pandora's box has been opened. Liverpool are open to selling Diaz. Arsenal are definitely open to selling Trossard and Martinelli. You're just not going to say it. And that's where I think these big deals become possible. But you've got to get good money for Martinelli. Liverpool.
Yeah, that's like if we sell Martinelli, I'd be way more confident.
But this is it. Liverpool have got for Liverpool to go now and get Isak or Rodrygo or both. Diaz and somebody else have probably got to be sold. Harvey Elliott has probably got to be sold. But if they start now touting those players about, oh, we're willing to get rid of these, you lose value on them. If you lose the value on them because you don't want them, you're in a situation where when a house is on the market to be sold, there's a house near me that's up for sale. I really want to buy it. I can't afford it though. But it's been up for sale forever because the owners wanted loads of money and it's dropping all the time. Well, it'll always, again, unless you're desperate to move house, just keep waiting and waiting and waiting because they're going to keep lowering the price. If it weren't on the market and you wanted to buy it off them, you're paying above market value. So what Arsenal, what United, what everyone's doing with players that have not fallen out with the club is you've got to bide your time. Now, it's risky because you may not get a buyer and then you can't buy somebody else. At the same time, if you sell Martinelli too cheap, you still won't have the money to buy the style you want. So it's futile. It becomes a pointless action. So for me, that's the element that I'm really kind of intrigued about when it comes to this window. The only club that's not really suffering with that at the moment is Chelsea. That's because they sold their women's team to themselves and they just got 100 million for being in the Club World Cup. They're the only one that's not in that sort of situation. City as well, I think, can spend a little bit more. I'm not too sure why they haven't yet. But yeah, look, it's going to be interesting indeed. Cal, thank you for jumping. Thank you for jumping on, mate. We'll catch up with you again soon. Top man. Great points made there by Cal. Ian is with us. What are you saying, Ian?
There you go, boys. Afternoon, tell KJ. How we doing, lads? All right.
Yeah,
good, mate. Good. What do you make of the Watkins links? Not as good as Gyökeres, but decent.
Mate, honestly, if it wasn't for the other fella, I can't remember his name now. You said it just then. I can't remember what he's called. No. All jokes aside, wicked signing for Arsenal. Extremely jealous, and that ain't going away because I'm not a flip flop. He's gonna bang goals, and that's that. But congratulations to them. They did that. Ollie, I'm happy. Honestly, I've been absolutely going on about it with a lot of other people, different groups I'm in. He's everything we need right now. Now, you've got a lot of people going, oh, he's nearly 30. What about resale value? What? Who cares about resale value? We're not buying him to look to make a profit. He's not one of Chelsea's young players. We're getting him to make us do this. Now, not for what he's going to be in 5 years' time. For now, and I think he's the most closest to a guaranteed goals that we can actually get as a football club right now. I think yes, we could go with Sesko. We could go a different route, maybe a Mateta. I think Sesko, for me, I think it's a risk. I'm just not quite sure. And the thing about wanting a release clause, no, I'm sorry, mate. No, we're not a stepping stone. If you want to leave after we've been here a while because you're not made it, that's fine. But I don't like players coming in and already planning when they're leaving. That's a big no for me. And everything else for me is a risk. And at the moment, if we're going to actually spend the money, which I'm starting to doubt, I think he's the best one. But I'd also like this mirror swap with Garnacho. Hopefully, I'm thinking that is the way.
Well, maybe there's a way to do that as well. You know, it's maybe we turn around and we say, okay, well, you want 60, we want 60. There's a way around that, as in we both do the. I mean, the transaction would work better for us on a financial standpoint because it would show. Wait, it works the same for them. They're probably making pure profit as well because they probably don't owe any money.
Oh no, he was like 30 million or something. Like,
yeah, he was 30 million, but he was 30 million like 4 or 5 years ago. So they'll have paid that all off and probably amortized all of that by now. So it'll work out for both in that regard. We just can't lose the valuation on Garnacho because we could probably spread Watkins' cost to be 15, 20 million year one, but bring in that. So maybe there's a way around it in that regard as well. But again, at the right money, I like Watkins because he scores goals and
consistency tell.
And we lack goals. And I know that we need to improve the midfield. I'm not negating that. At the same time, though, last season, we pick up anywhere between 5 to 10 more victories in the Premier League with goal scorers that we've just gone out and purchased. We win those games. A lot of people talk about dominating games. There's so many games in the back end of last season where we were the better team. So, yes, I know our midfield ain't perfect. But last season, I saw us pin so many teams back, dominate the ball, have the opportunity.
Just can't score.
But either draw the game or get or concede to a fucking corner or concede something crap and then not break them down and score. And you sit there and go, Jesus Christ, we had some goal scorers on this pitch. We would have won today. And it might be a little bit of you score 2, we score 3. You score 1, we score 2 for a period because we're not going to fix all the problems. But
absolutely,
goals, I know it's a cliche, but it's true. Goals change.
Absolutely,
games.
mate. They do. Do you guys believe that if we'd have had, say, Watkins in last year, we're easily top 10?
No, if we had Mbeumo, Cunha, and Watkins, I think we would be top 10. I think just Watkins by himself would have been still a bit not enough. But I do think though, if we had just Watkins up front in the Europa League final, we'd be in Champions League.
Yeah.
He scores 2 of those chances that we miss. I'm not saying he's going to score the Rasmus one because that's a freak.
If you go through it, right? Just look in the Premier League, right? If you go through it, so. Add the front line when now change nothing else, just change the front line we've got if Watkins joins. Let's go through these games from Boxing Day onwards. Let's say the 2-0 defeat away to Wolves, where we dominated, conceded from a corner, and then a late counter-attack goal, missed chances. You might, but let's keep that as a loss, right? Let's keep it as a loss. This will be an interesting one. When we got beat 2-0 by Newcastle at home on the 30th, we were 2-0 down. But the amount of chances we missed in the end of that first half, and all throughout the second half, you could put that
wasteful.
Down. Yeah.
Definitely.
The next game, Liverpool away 2-2. Imagine that's how dominant we were in that. We were dominant in that game. Look at the chances we missed in the first half. Those guys could change it. You could win. We beat Southampton. The 3-1 defeat to Brighton. Put that down as a defeat because 2 of their goals were goalkeeping errors. We're changing nothing but the front line. Let's just keep that where it is. We then beat Fulham away from home. We then lost at home to Crystal Palace 2-0 after missing chance after chance after chance after chance.
That game gives me nightmares.
And then ended up conceding two goals in the second half after missing abundant chances. Let's say we still concede the goals, but let's put it in as a draw. The 1-0 defeat away to Spurs. Conceded 1 goal, and Garnacho missed 3 or 4 sitters in that game.
Watkins gets hat-trick.
Everton away, the 2-2 draw, abundance of chances missed. We then beat Ipswich at home. Arsenal at home, the 1-1 draw. The amount of chance we were the better team. We beat them.
That's W's all day.
We beat Leicester. Then we lost to Forest 1-0. Again, the amount of chances in that Forest game that we missed. Then we drew to City 0-0 at home. Again, chance. That chance at the back post for Garnacho. That's a win. We then got battered by Newcastle. You keep that as a loss. Then we lost 1-0 at home to Wolves again the week after that, right? We lost 1-0 at home to Wolves again. A game.
One shot target and they scored.
That's all they had, but we dominated the game. This attacking line, I think we win it. We then drew 1-1 with Bournemouth, all right? Again, another game, all right? Another match where we had 25 shots to their 8, okay? And we only drew 1-1. The Brentford game 4-2. Let's keep that as a win for them. It was a late flurry. We then lost 2-0 to West Ham. That was similar to the Wolves game where we were the better team.
Them.
We had 20-odd shots to their 8 in the game.
Battered them.
Ended up losing 2-0 because we couldn't score. Then we lost 1-0 to Chelsea. Again, we had chances in that game. Chelsea they nicked it. Could be a draw. Then we beat Aston Villa. Rivals will sit there and say, you can't do this with football. Football doesn't work this way. No, it does. The system, the way we played in those 15 games we mentioned, it is conceivable that 2 or 3 of those draws become wins, and it's conceivable that even 3 or 4 of those losses become wins. You add those points on, we don't go into this season with the same pressure. The goal,
nowhere near it.
Those goals will change games. There's no doubt. I want to thank
100% tell
John here for gifting 10 memberships out to our viewers today. A massive thank you to each and every single one of you.
Big up, John.
That. Thank you very much for that, John. Ian, listen, mate, always a pleasure to
Can I just give one quick point before I got to go? Based on the midfield, I know we're being linked with Javi Guerra, and I think I've spoke to you or mentioned him to you before, but we're talking about we haven't got a lot of money to maybe spend, and there might be midfield instead. Do you guys see anything? Have you seen Lucien Agume? KJ,
no. This guy
I tell levels. We're from a generation where we use these to judge a footballer, not what this says, right? Watch this kid. I'm telling you now, if someone signs a Belieber, someone signs Adam Walton, or Real Madrid's get rid of Tchouaméni, they're replacing with this kid for 18 million euros. 18 million euros. Lucien Agume. He plays for Sevilla, French under-21 international. If this geezer isn't everything that Man United need, I don't know what I've ever seen as a footballer.
You know, and Ian made a point say he uses his eyes and not the stats, right? But the thing is, he fulfills both. His stats are amazing, and he's good on the eye test. This guy is PMP with tech. He is. This guy, man. This is what I was.
There's a great. Go on, KJ. Sorry, bro. No, go.
No, I said there's a great in another stream. Gume and Hackney, 40 million or around 40 million pounds would be absolutely insane.
10.
Kind of moves we need to make in this midfield, man.
Absolutely.
With engine, with legs, with PMP.
Oh, he's got everything. Those two players, I'm 100% with you on that, KJ. 100. Those two players revolutionise our midfield. Could be for a decade. Also, if we're looking for a partner for Kobe Mainu, again, Lucien Agume. Just teaching Kobe how to watch this space and tell. There's a very good, I don't big up any other channels. If you're looking for something to look on and hear some stats with some facts, eye test, AJ Analytics. Yeah, he does an extremely techers breakdown on the way this bloke, he's so two-footed, 93% of his passes are taken a touch on one foot and automatically passed with the other foot. He changes the direction of the ball. I think it's the 5th highest in all of Europe. It's the money is stupid.
I'll take a look on that one, mate. Ian, thanks for coming on, mate. I appreciate it.
No worries, always, guys.
Cheers, bro. Thank you very much indeed. A few super chats. I'll go and take a look at that guy. Now I've looked at him, I know who he is. It was just one of those things where something you don't always put
into Arsenal.
You don't always put a name to a face, but because he was at Inter Milan, right?
Yeah, he was in Milan.
He was in Inter Milan player. Yeah, I know what you mean now. The United analysis on a centre forward is spot on, especially when you aren't wearing rival banter glasses. This is why I hate general Arsenal discourse. We're never allowed such grace or anything taken as excuses FC. And this is the thing. I agree with you. I just went through and run the numbers, and I didn't turn all those games we mentioned into wins. I turned some into draws, and some I left the same. And conservatively, I've added 22 points to our season. And that's, by the way, that's the back end of the season. That doesn't even include, the beginning of the season where you look at the Brighton game, where we're looking at the Palace game away, where you're looking at the Villa game away, you're looking at the West Ham away. There was the Chelsea.
Even when we lost 2-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, the Chelsea draw at home, Ipswich 1-1 away. There is a genuine possibility that if you go to all those games with that front line and Amorim's system from the start, you could conceivably and honestly look at it and go, you could add conservatively say 27 points to Man United's total last year. You could conservatively look at it and do that. And if you had 27 points to what we got last year, you're looking at a situation where you're looking at it and saying that's 69 points. 69 points got us Champions League position last season. And that's just being honest if you watch the games. The same as when you watch Arsenal, 14 draws, with a Zubimendi controlling the midfield, with proper backup Saka, with a striker like Gyökeres and probably Eze alone, could you see half of those draws become wins? That's the first question you are. Could half of those draws, and by the way, 10 of them they were leading in the games. If you take those 14 games and you take half of them alone, okay, and you add 14 points extra next season, right? Now, where you've got to counteract it is some of the games they won that maybe they won narrowly, right? So that's why you're being conservative with it. You had 14 points to their total. That's 88 points. That puts them much closer to Liverpool as an example. You look at this, you look at Chelsea and go, they drew 9 and they lost. They
Bomber. Terry, play the breaking news sting. Play it.
Hang on, because I haven't seen it yet. Tell me when.
Craig Hope.
You read it.
Craig Hope has just reported exclusive. Alexander Isak tells Newcastle he wants to explore and move away from the club. Amid Liverpool interest.
Well, we told you all. This is the thing, Newcastle fans. We told you all. We told you all this was happening. We told you all this was what was happening. Look, we'll be breaking that later on. We'll be talking about that later on. I want to say a big shout out here to where are you seeing this Rodrygo news? Ben Jacobs, my friend. That's where we're seeing it. He's coming to Anfield. You were right, maybe about that. And love and hate the transfer window. I hear you completely. I think the formal announcements. Oh, yeah, it's a Gyökeres update from Fabrizio. Don't need that, but there we go. But we'll be reacting to the other news a little bit later on the show. Don't you worry about that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, I want to say a big, big thank you to each and every single one of you. Let me just do one thing before we go any further, because we haven't set this up yet. Because we've got the top 6 show coming later, because I'm going to set the show up now, and I'm going to redirect you guys to it so you know that show is coming. Let me just put that show on. I should have done it earlier, but I got so busy talking on the show. When you went bomber, I refreshed my my stream. I'm like, oh, I don't follow that person. He's not in my wheelhouse. I was like,
that's why you got to keep the group chats open on WhatsApp, man. The news gets delivered.
This is true. It certainly does. Why is it not showing up yet as a redirect? Well, bear with me one sec, people. And if you haven't done it yet, refresh your stream, by the way, because you might not have the redirect ready. So refresh your stream for me right now. This is going to redirect you to our top 6 show. We might even be live before that with this Isak news anyway. I'm live, by the way, 2 p.m. on the United stand with Ben Jacobs. So we'll be talking Ollie Watkins. That's going to be the story there. So if you're a United fan, join us on the United stand, 2 p.m. UK time. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.